Hello, I'm Brian Gongware with McKinley Well Services. Are you a better than average driver? Chances are you answered yes. That's because nearly 3/4 of people believe they're a better than average driver. And while it's mathematically impossible, this statistic is just an example of overconfidence. Today's video will take a look at 5 common behaviors or biases and how they can impact our decision making. Behavioral biases sometimes can cloud our judgment and lead us to make irrational decisions. When markets are down and impossible to predict what the future might hold, these perceptual distortions can impact our thinking and our appreciation for what the long term holds and what the impact of these short-term decisions might have on that. The first bias we'll look at is recency bias. Now, recency bias can lead us to putting too much emphasis on the latest information and often ignoring other important data. Say, for example, stocks begin to climb, inspiring a surge in buying. Now, while prices climb higher and higher, surpassing historically expensive levels, yet investors may ignore this red flag, assuming recent trends outweigh long-term data. However, bubbles like these can pop, and frequently do. Now, the ways in which we counter recency bias can be by taking a long-term approach to investing. One example of this is a bucketing approach. Now, with a bucketing approach, we select specific investments for a specific long-term financial need or objective that we might have. And in a separate virtual bucket, we select another group of investments that might be there to meet that particular priority or need that we have that might be more short-term or intermediate term in nature. Another approach of keeping a long-term perspective is a dollar cost averaging approach, which is very common, you might be familiar with. And it's where a series of periodic investments are made regardless of whether the markets might be up or might be down. And this approach of dollar cost averaging or the bucketing approach can help us ease the temptation to chase returns or panic when prices fall. A second bias is overconfidence bias. Now, while confidence is useful when necessary, don't get me wrong about that, investing a portion of your income definitely takes confidence. And it's confidence that allows you to keep risk in perspective and sit tight in a turbulent market. But overconfidence can be dangerous. It can lead us to believe that we can predict market movements or spot obvious investment opportunities even when the rest of the world might be missing them. It can also lead us to make emotional decisions in response to market movements. Third bias we'll talk about today is anchoring. Anchoring is when your emotional attachment to a past value blinds you from being able to recognize the pure present value and the future prospects for a particular investment. For example, maybe you owned an investment and it was at $100 of value not that long ago. And now, for whatever reason, it has withdrawn and declined down to $60. Now, we are anchored in that $100 figure, convinced that it's the right value for your investment. As a result, you may hold on to your investment or resource, convinced it will soon rebound, of which of course we know there's no guarantee that it might do that. A fourth bias is political bias. Now, political leanings can distort our perceptions of both risk as well as reward. And it's never been higher than the time in which we talk about right now. Now, such investors tend to see the markets as less risky and more attractive when their preferred party is in power. There is nothing inherently wrong with holding strong political beliefs. However, it is critically important to recognize the influence political beliefs or biases do have on one's investment and financial decisions. Lastly, trust is often placed with information sources that reinforce our political beliefs. This confirmation bias has us dismiss beliefs that are outside of our own, as we seek sources that might agree with us. So in conclusion, recognizing behavioral biases, recency, overconfidence, anchoring, political, and confirmation, and how they influence investing can help you keep them under control. As a result, you may be more likely to make investment decisions that align with your long-term financial plan and avoid those irrational decisions that may knock you off track from that financial life plan. If you are seeing ways that biases maybe have played into your financial plan, please give me a call. You may also suspect that you have some blind spots in your financial behaviors. I would love to provide some deeper insight. Together, we can help you master your wealth. Thank you.